Hello, Belinda. Hello. Hello, can you hear me? Hello, Belinda. Hi, can you hear me?
Hi, sorry about that.
Oh, are you able to hear me?
Yeah,
Okay, perfect. How are you, Belinda?
I'm good.
That's amazing. Our dear friend Francisca Epale is on joining us as well. Hello, Francisca.
She
Minute.
there?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Hello.
Hi,
okay.
Francisca. How are you?
I'm
Okay,
fine.
let's
Thank
get
you.
some cameras on. Let's see you guys. And Mylene is joining us as well. Okay, so how's everyone's week been?
Good.
My week was good. I'm having my mouse is not working very well, so I'm
It
trying to
could,
put on the video. I might have to go buy a new mouse.
oh yeah, or it could be the battery.
I did change the battery. It's still not doing it.
Okay.
I don't know why. Oh my God. What's going on?
Any wealthy moments to share?
Me? Yes, I was at a brunch this afternoon at
Mhm.
La Vallée. It's a
Oh
rooftop.
wow.
Have you been there
You
before?
were telling me about it. A rooftop, right? Go on, continue. I'm listening.
Rooftop. So we were there. Yep. We
That's
meet
amazing.
once a month for brunch.
Nice.
Yeah. And we
So
choose different restaurants. Yeah.
nice. How was that? How was the view?
It was nice. And then they were also having somebody book a Barbie party.
Hmm.
I don't know what Barbie party is. They were all in pink and they were all in swimsuits. Something
Okay.
is happening to my system. I don't know what's going on.
Oh yeah.
Let me go get my.
Close the program.
It's okay.
Okay.
So yeah. So definitely we're gonna get into the GPS. As people join us. Mylene, how are you? Mylene, can you hear us?
I'm gonna try and see my computer, but I'm watching you guys to my cell phone. Just give me a few more minutes.
Yeah. Sure. Mylene, are
Okay.
you here?
I am good. How about
Okay.
you?
Doing good. Yeah, so we're here and pretty much we're gonna get into the GPS session, and today we want to talk about paying attention. All right, we want to talk about paying attention because you know this is like one of the main things that we really have to be doing as we're navigating in this world, is paying attention. Right? Because when we pay attention, what's in our front frequency, what's in our mind, what we're in tune with is talking to us all the time. If you look at life and your reflection of life is pretty much you're having a conversation with God, right? And as you're going, you're asking questions, you're in prayer, and then in the physical, your the opportunities that you're praying for, are coming to you, right? So you having that conversation with God, and you're just going around navigating it helps you with your higher faculties. It helps with everything because you're channeling in, you're channeled in, right? So it's a discussion that you're doing, right? Like even right now, just getting into this crypto space, with this the VidiLook. Belinda, I'm going to share with you as well the VidiLook link, right?
Okay.
But it's an income opportunity, right? Where you earn 1.5% on your money per day, right? So
Okay.
yeah, so every day, whatever you want to invest in it, and the maximum right now is 3,000 Canadian. That's the maximum you could invest, right? The minimum is $25, right? But whatever it is that you invest, you get 1.5% return per day, and what you're doing it because you're watching ads. So it's an advertising company, right? The advertising market's a multi-billion-dollar company. They're saying by 2025, it's going to be over $100 billion market share in terms of what's flowing through the advertising space, right? So right now, as you see, on pretty much TV and stuff is becoming obsolete. Less people are watching TV, right? But TV, that's where all of these big companies were spending their money on advertising. When you watch a show, based on your viewings, based on how many people watch that show, that they get better ads. You'll notice the ads are different because the people are paying more for those ads because of viewership, right? That's how people were viewing. But now everyone's viewing on their phones. Everyone's watching stuff on their phones. So VidiLook, they're very, very, very smart because what they have is their advertising partner, right? So when you run Facebook ads, pardon?
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, so when you run Facebook ads, right? I have a Facebook ads running right now. Like I use Facebook ads. It's a great way for you to expand your business, right? And you're an affiliate, you jump all the way in. So you also get the Science of Online Business course, right? So we're gonna show you how to run yourself online, like how to run an online business. And most importantly, you got to build your social presence, right? You have to build your social presence, and that's because everybody's on their phones, right? So this is pretty much where things are going towards and shifting, right? So as they're shifting towards there, this is the Create Wealth Network, and it's about information, and that's why the network is so important. Everybody tuning into our GPS sessions and everyone connecting and being active on the WhatsApp group and sharing their wealthy moments and plugging into their map book with their map book read and stuff like that. Because what we're doing, by everyone adding that energy, into what's happening, right? Then things expand faster. The information gets to us faster, right? Because of the network, right? And pretty much that's the situation, what's going on right now. So when you think of advertising, when you go on YouTube, when you go on even other sites, you may even be shopping and then you'll see a little ad there. Those are advertising partners, right? Different sites apart from the site that you're advertising from. So when you run ads on Facebook, you could either run your ads only on Facebook, or you can have them on Facebook and Instagram, because Facebook owns Instagram as well, right? So you can have them on both, right? Or you could select also to have advertising partners advertise on their space. So these are partners that Facebook, they do a revenue share based on the ad spend, right? So you'll go on different websites, you go on different stuff, and you'll see ads come up, you'll see ads pop up, right? So those ads that you're watching, those are advertising partners, right? So Facebook, they're allowing Facebook to run their ads. They're allowing YouTube to run their ads on other platforms, right? So VidiLook is an advertising partner, right? And those are the companies they work with. They work with Google, they work with Facebook, they work with Instagram, LinkedIn, all these sites where when these advertisers are advertising, right, they're actually going, like, we can guarantee that you're watching ads because VidiLook does a revenue share where every time you watch an ad, you get paid 15 cents USD every time you watch an ad, right? So every time, so that you just have it running on your phone or on your computer and you're just watching ads, and every time you watch an ad, they're going to pay you 15 cents. So it's what they give is 1.5% on whatever you invest per day, right? So the range of investing is $25 up to $3,000, right? So you choose which subscription you have. There's a 25, 50, 100, 150, 500. But what you're doing is you're paid to be a partner where you're guaranteed, you're watching the ads, to guarantee viewership to advertisers, right? Because they're no longer advertising on TV, but they want to make sure people are watching their stuff, right? So by us watching ads, we get paid 1.5% on whatever you invest. So if you invest $1,000, right, then you're gonna get paid $1.50 every day. Every day you get paid $1.50, and they have a multiple, so it goes up to 2, 3, 4, and 5x multiple, right? So the investment that I personally have, I put in 3G's Canadian, and my payback is going to be about 13 grand USD, right? And it's going to take about 9 months for that to get paid out, but it's a subscription that I have on board. So I'm actually going to be doing something MSI report, on that on either next week or the week after, right? And the MSI report is pretty much, we're just sharing multiple sources of income, right? And we're going to break down the opportunity, look at the pros and cons, right? And just something for you to invest in, because we're moving on Robert Kiyosaki's principles, with which that poured at on a cash flow quadrant, right? Because a cash flow quadrant, is you want to transition from being an employee or self-employed to the right side of the quadrant, which is a business owner and investor, right? By you enrolling in this program, you're automatically a business owner. Everyone here is a business owner, especially everyone that's on right now. Collins, I see you. Kathy, welcome with us as well. But everyone, and Francisca and Belinda, she jumped right in as an affiliate, which is amazing, right? So it's a business that's going on. So you get your commissions on there. But at the same time, what we want to do with the MSI report is we want you to also get in that quadrant of investor, where your money, and as you're building money and making money, you can put it in places where your money's making money. That's the main objective. You want your money to make money, right? And inflation right now is about 5-6%. Collins could confirm that, but as long as you're making over inflation, that's where you want to be at, right? So this investment is really good because you got paid 1.5% per day. So that's about 45% per month, right? So it's a great opportunity. I'm going to share that with everyone. But that honestly came based on the same thing that we're talking about right now on the GPS session, just from paying attention, right? Because God's communicating with us all the time, right? And the more that we, have that conversation in terms of listen, like where we listen, we get God's direction, we go into ourselves. That's what we're doing with the map book. We're frequently going into ourselves, connecting with God, connecting with source. This is pretty much where your energy is coming from, right? So, as you're on that, then it's just more, paying attention to what's coming, because things are on your frequency. And, are you letting them pass by you, or are you connecting with them and charging them up and growing from there, right? And that's what it's about, paying attention, because, paying attention is one of the main things that, as we're out, like even right now in the GPS, are we paying attention, right? The conversation we're having, these are key, because it's you discussing, you're like what you're actually doing, right? Yeah, Colin, sir, you are right. Huh? Colin said $15 a day. It's right. Sorry about that. $1,000 invested, you get $15 per day, right? That's pretty much what it is. And it's a great opportunity. I've been on for 2 months, made over 3 grand. I have like a 1,400 in my account there right now. I haven't even withdrawn that yet. And every single day you just turn on the ads and they're running. So Derek, I'm glad Derek just joined us, and see, again, pay attention. This is such an amazing GPS session, because we're talking about paying attention, right? I was talking about the MSI report. My brother Derek just joined us on the GPS, right? And that's how it's about frequency. It's really about frequency, because on the MSI report, when I'm going to break down, in detail more video, and Derek's going to be, going and explaining further of how else you can expand your funds, right? He's deep in the crypto and markets and stuff like that. He actually just saved me some money the other day. XRP, it's a crypto company, and they spiked up, and I was about to jump in right away. And he's like, no, don't jump in. You jump in now. That's like, that's fear of missing out. Like, we gotta wait, And then I waited. I went, all right, cool. So I didn't jump in. And then I waited a few days, and it went down like 10 cents. The share, for the XRP, it went down, So, You know, if I went in, I would have been down money, you know, but even though it's not my money anymore, because now I'm in the profit on VidiLook. You know what I mean? It's pretty much money that's being printed, you know, just sending it out to, you know, these different wallets and trading other cryptos, you know, right? So, but Derek, he's gonna add on. Derek, you're down. I don't know if you want to expand on that a little bit.
Yeah, you know, whenever you're ready, I could definitely expand on that and let you guys know about a few things that I've learned, right? Because pretty much a learning experience for everyone. But you know, in life right now, just how the system set up, we're here to make some funds to take care of our family and that. So this is just another way to maximize the funds you're creating, right? So with the VidiLook, what Richard was saying, I'm just using it as pretty much something to build up my crypto portfolio. Before I used to just after every paycheck, I take out 3 bills out of every paycheck. I put into crypto. I take 2 bills. I put into stocks. You know, but now with my crypto, I don't have to take out. I just
Progress.
yeah, I just try from VidiLook, and then I send it to my crypto account, and then I trade futures with that, and it's all blessed, right? So yeah, I could definitely go deep into it whenever it's time.
Yeah, the time is always now. So thank you for giving that little insight there. But you know that came on a form of, you know, real paying attention. Like we're on Wealthy on the Street, you know, the series that if you go on I hope everyone's, you know, subscribed on the Create Wealth Network channel. You know, we're just giving information of wealth creation, but we have a series called Wealthy on the Street. And any of our wealth creators, you're welcome to join. You know, when we go out on the streets, when you're welcome to come out with us on the streets, and we just want to get a worldwide understanding of wealth. You know, so that's the core question that we ask everyone, and then we expand on it. You know, we go deeper into, you know, wealth, whatever insight that, you know, they can share. So, you know, it's an extension of the Create Wealth Network, right? Yeah, we met the Wealthy. His name was Wealthy. You know, connection, right? And you know, he was going deep into the name. You know, 7 points in heaven. Like he's talking about, you know, he was going in, right? And Francisco, we go out. We're actually going. We have a Focus 11 challenge going on, and we're going to college and university right now. They're spinning the wheel to win. We're giving $1,000 scholarship. You know, so that next one we're doing in Brampton, but we want to go all over Ontario for that one. And then Wealthy on the Street, you know, different events, you know, marketing events, whatever, we go to them and we just interview people. So yeah, even if you have you see some good ones and anyone's willing to reach, that would be amazing. Right, I was talking to Christina Rocco. She came with me to the last Focus 11 challenge, right? And then she was talking. She said, "Oh, you guys should make them sign up on the form right away." And after, I'm like, "Oh, first off, you're a wealth creator. You're an affiliate, like, you know. So, you know, it's not you guys, it's we. You know, it's we. We should do this. We should do. You know what I mean? Because your input matters." You know what I mean? This is not you guys. This is nothing external. You know, this is internal. This is a part of you. You know, if you're channeled in on the Create Wealth Network and the map book and stuff like that, you know, like as you're using the program, you see what it's about. The foundation is going inside, right? So, you know, it's a direction that is being given, you know, and so it's a part of you. So it's a we, because the thing is, if everyone participates, right, then everyone wins. That's pretty much how this whole thing is set up. This whole thing is set up like that, right? And you know, I'm grateful and thank God for you know, connecting with all of you. You know, and I want to connect with, you know, more of like-minded people who are, you know, creating wealth and making a positive impact in this world, right? So, you know, right, Kevin Trudeau, you know, someone I took him from young, you know, he's a researcher and you know, he had a lot of deep information. And he came out with a course called Your Wish is Your Command. this course is an audio series, and I probably listened to it over 500 plus times, right? And you know, it came out around the time The Secret came out. You know, and The Secret information was really good, but Kevin Trudeau, I've actually knew about from younger, and you know, just from his teaching style and the information that he has, you know, very knowledgeable. And Your Wish Is Your Command was a big audio series to take in, because it goes into the deep principles. But the first thing that he talks about in the whole, like as you see, there's like 12 discs, right? In the whole series, the first thing he talks about is how teachable are you? Right? How teachable are you? Right? Where's your teachability index? Right? Because a lot of people, their teachability index is at 1, right? If you come to them with any suggestion, or you come to them with anything, they already know it all. Right? So there's no more information that they could get. Right? So our teachability index needs to always be at 10. Always be at 10. Right? I mean, you're open to learning, right? You don't know it all, right? And if you come with that approach where your teachability index is always at 10, right? Then you're going to absorb all of the information, right? Because you're teachable, right? So even if you're in a meeting, or you know, you're in a thing, and of course you go and you get your points through and you present, or you share your thoughts, but ask questions. Ask questions, right? I remember Francisca, when she first joined, I'm glad she doesn't say it anymore, but when she first joined, she goes, "Oh, I have a stupid question." And I'm like, no, there's no such thing as a stupid question, because when you have a question, that means you're teachable, right? And if we keep our teachability index at number 10, then you're going to learn everything. You're going to learn everything because your teachability index is at 10. You're always teachable, right? And you know, starting that series with that, it allowed me to absorb the content, and I see the difference it made in my life. And it's definitely core principles are in the map book, right? From this series. So if you're experiencing wealthy moments and you're seeing all these things that are happening, you know, you're applying a lot of the principles that he's teaching, of course, from other places as well. And it's good to reference and cross-reference with like scripture and, you know, things like that. And he does that in that series too, right? So it's like, how teachable are you, right? Many people, you know, they say they're not able, they're too busy, you know, or they you know, they're not able to do their dream or their goals or the things that they say they're going to do because life got in the way, right? They say like life got in the way. Like that's a terminology that's out there, meaning kind of like, oh, you know, life ain't the greatest. You know what I'm saying? But that's not the truth. Life is the greatest, right? And when we look at this world, and we're looking at Earth, and everyone's looking at this image right now, we're seeing this place that we're on right now. Right? We're seeing this place that we're on right now. You know, out here floating in space, right? And you know, the space, there's order in space, and all of that's happening while all what we're doing is happening, right? So like, if we're taking a micro and macro, you know, then, you know, like just like in space, when everything's out there and orbiting and moving and things are happening, over here, what we're doing is a part of that, you know, and we're here to channel in, you know, that supreme energy and implement it into this world, right? Bring it into this physical, right? So for us to do that, you know, we're God's community, we have to pay attention, right? We have to pay attention, right? Because when using a map book, it's important that you pay attention to everything that happens around you, to the people you meet, to the things that you see, hear, and most importantly, feel. God will be speaking back to you frequently by forming your life experiences with all that you are asking for. Anyone want to expand on this? Have you recognized the people you meet, the things you see and feel as you've been using the map book, you know, and you know, and even Belinda, you just joining the program. You just joining the program shows that you're channeled into this frequency. You are a person that Francisca met. Francisca was a person that you met. So you're already on this frequency, you know, so you're matching us. That's why you're here, you know, and I see Corey just signed in as well. And Corey, the same thing with you. You know, you're matching on the frequency, right? If you're on this channel right now, then it's a vibrational call. Like today, my wife, we were downstairs and my aunt, she wanted to come by visit, you know, our daughter. And my wife just felt to call her, like, we have to call her, you know. And I'm like, yeah. So I call my aunt and I was telling her, you know, she's like, oh, you know, today's my birthday. I'm like, oh, wow, that's amazing. You know, happy birthday. The kids came, they sang her birthday, you know, happy birthday, you know, and we gave her the blessings and stuff like that. But it just shows, like, you know, we reached out for her to come visit us. And you know, like, it's her birthday, you know, it's just like an alignment. It was just alignment, and it was such a good feeling that, you know, we know that was set for us to do, because my wife just had the urge, like, oh yeah, we gotta call her. Like, you know, like at first we're gonna text her, and then she's like, we gotta call her. And she's like, oh, you know, that she does her birthday, she's just turned 71, like, you know, it's live. But you know, that's something that, you know, has happened recently, you know, in terms of, you know, what is being mentioned over here. Does anyone else have anything that they could add, you know, in terms of, you know, the experience from their experiences?
I want to add something.
Yes, Francisca.
Yes, and the other day,
Can we see some people? Can we see some cameras? If anyone has their camera, turn it on, please. But go on,
Okay.
Francisca.
I'm sorry, I haven't.
I know you tried. I know.
So my name came. Oh, I am echoing. I don't think I'll talk.
No, talk. We can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. I was in the grocery store.
Mhm.
A young man came up to me and asked me, do you know where the spaghetti is? And I showed him. And I looked at him. I said, are you French speaking? He said, yes. I said, what country? From Cameroon. I laughed. He
Wow.
said, why are you laughing? I said, my father is from Cameroon. So out of all the people in the store, he came to ask me.
Wow.
And we are from the same country.
Wow.
He's a student. So I asked him, did you just come recently? He said, yes, 8 months ago. And I asked him, what is he studying? He's studying computer science.
Nice. That's amazing.
Law of attraction.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And the thing is too, like, you going out and, you know, like, even you just showing them where the thing is, you know, that's a form of service. Like that right there's contribution, right? And you know, it's so I'm so grateful that, you know, you're out here and, you know, you're expressing the, you know, the principles within the map book. And that's all what we want to get in this world. We want to get that out in this world, you know. So thank you so much for your contribution. That's amazing.
You're welcome.
Okay. Yeah, so anyone else? Kathy.
I have the hiccup, so if I have a hiccup, yeah, I mean, it happens a lot, like with like the law of attraction and stuff. Like just jumping off of Francisca's story, I went to the convenience store the other day, and I met this man. He was trying to buy a toothbrush, and he wanted like a certain toothbrush, like a soft toothbrush. So the guy was like, oh, maybe check the pharmacy. So I was leaving the store the same time as him, and the pharmacy door was locked. And he said to me, are they closed? And I said, well, I don't think this is the door you go in. You go in the other door, but it looks like they're closed. So I was trying to tell him, oh, down the street, there's a Shoppers Drug Mart. And he was communicating with me perfectly in English. And then he said, you know, I'm an English teacher from India. He says, but I have no idea what you're saying.
For real.
Yeah. So, hi guys. I'm sitting outside. So I say hi to everybody. So he said, I have no idea what you're saying.
Mhm.
So I'm like, okay, I'm trying to explain to him, like, so we just had like a very brief interaction on, I said, you're looking for a toothbrush, and I made the sign like for, he goes, yeah, soft. And I said, yeah, so you got to go to the store down the street,
Mhm.
you know? So, but it was like those interactions,
Mhm.
like they're often, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Whether it's like just, you know, we're all from different cultures, especially if you live in Brampton, right? Like I have people who walk past my house. I just had like a group of maybe your people, Richard, Ghanaian people that walk
Good.
just past my street. I remember seeing them. But we have so many people that walk past the street. I did open house today and I had different cultures coming through. And
Mhm.
it's like, you know what? We're all people that connect on different languages,
Mhm.
different, you know what I mean? But
Mhm.
we connect. It
Wow.
doesn't matter if we speak the same language, but
Exactly.
you know what? A smile, a hug,
Mhm.
whatever it is, you
Mhm.
know what I mean? We all are beings that connect.
Yeah. There's so many forms of communication.
Absolutely, 100%. My girlfriend gets mad because in the morning I sit on my front porch and I talk to her every morning.
Mhm.
But how many people who walk past my house and they say good morning to me?
Mhm.
And so there's two men that walk past. Did you sell the house? Kathy, you're the best. Kathy, you're the best.
Oh,
So the
wow.
other day she said to me, my friend on the phone, she goes, I need to say hi.
That's-
So, you know, just when you
Wow.
start spreading that
Mm.
joy of just saying hello, other people
Mhm.
gravitate because she doesn't see these people. We're not on FaceTime,
Yeah,
but she wanted to say hi. So now when he comes by in the morning, the two men,
Mm,
one doesn't talk, one talks.
mm.
He says hi. He says, hi, Kathy. Is that Laura? Hi, Laura. You know?
Oh, nice.
So it's,
Nice.
yeah, I mean, that's just
That's deep.
human
That's deep.
interaction.
No, it's amazing. It's amazing. And the fact that you're paying attention, right? That's why the topic right now is so important, right? Because you're paying attention, right? Because some
100%.
people won't be paying attention to these things, you know, right? And you don't get to see the intricacies in detail, you know, and
So
understand
true.
that you're communicating on a higher level. You're really tapping in from source where you know you get to extend that out to people, right? And that's why
Yeah.
you see over here it says most importantly, feel, right? So people how they
Yeah.
feel, you know, she's like
Yeah.
she wanted to say hi because how she felt, you know, it was
Yeah.
an urge, right? The people who were saying it gave them a good feeling, so they want to continue to connect, right? So that's amazing.
100%.
Thank you so much for sharing, Collins.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of those interactions. I can't put my mind to one specific event right now, but I know that it happens to me a lot. Where especially with clients, I'll be thinking about, I'll write it in my critical seven. Actually, yeah, just last week. It was one of the points in the critical seven for the day to actually contact a client and just that I haven't touched base with in a while. And randomly they messaged me about something. And I
Mm.
was like, this is actually scary because I was actually going to call you today. And it got to the point where I actually had to take a picture of my critical seven and send it to them. Because I'm like, I know it may seem like a coincidence that you called me telling me that, hey, I wanted to call you. But I'm like, no, look, I wrote it down today that I was going to call you. So,
Mm.
but yeah, I have those instances like all the time, and it really just reemphasizes connection part of things, right?
Yeah, that's deep. That's deep. Paying attention, right? That's because just like you know, going back with Kathy said in terms of communication, so many forms. So you're communicating on them in spirit, right? Like you actually called them, like telepathically in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Like there's ether, the ether around. You know, it's like they say there's this thinking substance, you know, that penetrates throughout everywhere in all space, right? So, you know, that's what you were sending off, right? And what was happening was he was just drawing to you. We actually have a slide like that in here. I want to get to that. Boom. Right? So we attract what we frequently think about. And that's what was going on with you right now, right? You were thinking about it. You had it in there. You're rolling it over. You know, you're doing this, right? But you're thinking about it like all the time. It's like you're thinking about it so much that they got into your radar zone and they were actually right there. And they called you, you know, but you've been calling them. You know, they've been calling you too, because for attraction to happen, it has to come together. So, you know, that's amazing that you shared that. Corey.
Hello.
Yes.
How you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Sorry, I joined the meeting a little late. You guys are talking about attraction and
yeah, we're talking about, exactly. Just paying attention. You know, while we're out there navigating, you know, in the world, you know, are we paying attention? You know, to, you know, we're being communicated to on a higher level. But, you know, if many times people will miss it, right? So like when something's there and it's talking to you, right? You're taking it in, but are you paying attention? You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I totally am a believer of that. I always know that the more you think about something in a positive light, it comes to you. Even if you think about it in a negative light, it comes to you. So you think will come to you. And I'm a firm believer of that. I always write down my goals for next week. Like I always say that, okay, I need to close this deal this week. I need one deal on the wholesale and one deal on the marketing side. And when I do those things and I focus on it, those things always come, right? And I think that you know, mentally thinking about what you want positively without, you know, limitations, those things come faster. Even there's something, I forget it off the top of my head, but like things always happen. If I think, okay, I need to do this. Like the other day I needed a videographer to help me edit, and it's been a long time. And I kind of actually put it to the side just because, yeah, I just was hiring the wrong people. And then all of a sudden I was just really focused on it and really thought positive about it. And when I first looked at it, someone was charging me maybe 200 or 250 just for that video. And I wasn't even that impressed with all the editing. And then when I stopped thinking about it negatively and I just said, okay, just really search, really do your research. This is what you really want. I messaged someone on someone's post and I'm like, I need a videographer because that's what they special in. And they messaged me not realizing that I messaged them probably like a week before that. And it was just one of those things where I had to positively think about something to be able to get that result or to get that employee to be able to work on my videos. So that $250 charge that I was like fretting about paying, you know, maybe twice a week or 3 times a week, now I'm only paying maybe like $50 for those editing, and that guy does a better job than the person that I would have paid $250 for. So just thinking about, you know, not necessarily thinking about your you know, how much is going to cost or worrying about if I'm going to get the project done. It's more just thinking about it will get done, and those things will come to me if I think about it positively, because there's always, you know, a way to get over things if you think about it positively, no matter how big you might think it appears.
Exactly. Thank you. And that's what it goes to paying attention, right? Because
Right.
when the opportunities are there, it's all about how you feel. So if you're feeling, okay, this didn't work right, this does work right, then you're tapping in. You know what I mean? Because you're going through feeling, you're going through, you know, like it's like you're being channeled in a sense, right? Because you talked about someone, you know, not like you were pushing this off because he didn't feel right. And then, you know, when you met the person, he did a better job. It made you feel right. Like you just felt good to work with them, you know, before even work with them. It just felt right. You know what I mean? And that's, you know, one of the key things with paying attention, right? We got to see how things feel. Like, you know, how's it feel? And we move toward that, right? So that's amazing. Thanks for sharing that, man, because, you know, we're all connected. Every single one of us is connected, right? And once we get that understanding, then it's like, okay, we're all connected, we're all one, like we're all like, as if we're looking right now, Earth, what does it look like? It looks like one. Like, yeah, we go in deep, we see billions of people, but right now, if we're looking on, on a higher level, and we're looking at it, it's all one. It's all one. We're all one, and the universe is all one. It's all one. We're all one. We're all connected, right? And if we think we're separate, then that's just a limited perspective, right? And we want to continue to, expand our awareness. That's why we have the GPS session. That's why, we have our WhatsApp group. That's with the Create Wealth Networker. That's why we just want to channel in and, give more information, to each other. So as we're, experiencing this life, we get to understand, oh, okay, we're all one. So if we're all one, and we're paying attention to what's inside of you is what you're visualizing outside of you, right? Because if when you hear be aware of your surroundings out in this world, everything's based on fear. So even if you typed it on Google, you'll see it say, oh, beware, right? But this term, beware of your surroundings, is not a bad term. This is actually a good term. Being aware of your surroundings, you're connected with source. You're right, and fear is being instilled in us, right? And that's why you got to kind of like unplug yourself from there, you know what I mean? From out in this world, because if you are, then you're being, when fear is being instilled, we're talking about feeling, right? Then now your feeling will always have fear in it, and it will hold you back from moving forward to those things that you're being drawn towards, the things that you're being connected to, the people that you're supposed to meet, right? The things that the places you're supposed to be at, right? And when things are frequently in our mind, like say the news or and that's what's being penetrated on us, whether even if you're listening to a radio station, they're gonna have a news break and they're gonna go and share 1-2 things that are there to fill in your subconscious mind, and you may not even realize because you're just driving and listening to the music, but things are being planted into your subconscious mind all the time, right? And we attract what we frequently think about. So us understanding that, oh, things are being planted in our subconscious mind all the time, and then we attract what we think about, right? Then we got to be aware of what we're thinking about most of the time, right? So as we meet people and go in situations, circumstances, right, and these things happen to us, as we're aware of our surroundings and we're channeled in on the right frequency, right? We're in the map every day. You're going into your intentions, your dream goals, what does a big picture look like? What are all the goals that you're doing this year, this month, this week, like everything you have there, and you're reading this every day, right? And you're going to connect with people that are on that same frequency because we're all one, right? You're going to be vibrating, connecting with all these other people that are on the same frequency, right? Because energy is, right? And you choose your thoughts, right? That's your intellectual mind, right? But your thoughts cause your feelings. That's your subconscious mind, and your subconscious mind absorbs everything, right? So it's very important that in our conscious mind, we're we like kind of like blocking out certain things, right? Like you shouldn't be on, like if news is on, change channel. If you're listening to radio and certain news thing come in about, oh, this person got kidnapped or shot or whatever, you just switch to the next station. Like if you're trying to pollute your mind with things that make you feel that you don't want to feel, even if you're at a meeting and you're talking and then for chit chat they try to bring up something that was on the news and say, oh yeah, no, I don't really watch news. So and then you could talk about something like uplifting and motivating, or you could just change the channel in a sense, right? Because then you're protecting your subconscious mind, right? Because your subconscious mind causes your action, it causes your results, it causes what's in front of you. What you're seeing right now in your life is a result of your past thinking, right? So right now, what are you thinking about most of the time, right? If you really concentrate, what do you think about most of the time? That is your frequency. That is the results that you're going to get, right? And that's what the map book does, right? The map book, you know, allows you to create your own thoughts. So you're not thinking about what everyone else been talking about, or what they've been telling you, or even a lot of things that have been programmed in your mind since you've been growing up. You may have some false beliefs, right? You may have some superstitions. You may have all kinds of things that are just in your mind right now, and they're in your subconscious mind, and they're causing the results that you have, right? But if you get in the process, you know, with the Mind Assistance program, right, and you're going through and you're reading this every day, 2 times a day, right, 5 or 10 days, you're committed. You're committed to do this for 1 year, right? Because that's pretty much all the map book is. We're just giving you a space to create your own thoughts. Don't let your thoughts the thoughts outside of you be creating what you're seeing in front of you, right? Because that's what your results are. What your perspective on life, what you're seeing right now is a result of your past thinking. So if you're thinking most of the time about your goals, your dreams, you know, what your ideal life looks like, right? Belinda's on here. We went through orientation call, like we were just on the phone, and she was you know, telling me, you know, some amazing things. You know, she wants to go back home, you know, and she wants to do it often, where she could travel there often, right? How often, Belinda?
Sorry about that, it was muted.
No problem.
What you saying?
How often will you be traveling? Your ideal life. Remember, you're telling me.
Every day.
Hey, why not? Right? Because the thing is, remember, we are the ones who are limiting ourselves. We're always self-sabotaging ourselves. Right? There's no, if every day, if that really is what you feel inside, that you want to be traveling every day, write that in your affirmatory declaration. Write it in there. I'm grateful and thank God that I travel every day. You know, and I visit different parts of the world, and I go see my family, because what's going to happen is you're going to attract that situation, however it may be. Maybe it's, you know, from work. Because of work, you're able to travel all over to different places, doing what you love, of course, whatever else you're writing in your affirmatory declaration, right? But, you know, God knows how everything's formed. We put out the intention, right? And the reason why we put out the intention is because that's what's coming from inside of us, right? And that's our connection with Source, right? That is your true being. That's inside you. Screaming, wanted to do things, wanted to get up, wanted to be somebody, wanted to, you know, do all these things, right? But how close of a relationship do we have with that, with our spirit? How close of a relationship? How often are you going inside? How often are you meditating? How often are you praying? How often are you reading your map book, right? So if you could commit to this 2 times a day, right, then you're really connected with inside of yourself. You're really connected with your spirit, right? And you are creating your own thoughts, right? So that's what you're going to see in your life. It's just what you're going to see. And how it happens is so amazing. Like, things will just get formed together. And you have to give, and that's why in the map book, the affirmatory declaration starts with, I'm grateful and thank God. Because you have to thank God. Because when things happen, it's like, oh wow, how did that happen? You have to thank God. You have to give praise, because if you think about, you know, even if you were to do something for somebody, right? If you were to do something for somebody and they say thank you, how do you feel? Right? How do you feel? If you probably feel good, right? If you do something for somebody, more than likely you feel good about it. If they say, and especially if they say thank you, right? They're showing you their appreciation. Right? It's like, oh, wow, yeah, no problem. Like, you know, you feel good, but you want to go and do it more even, right? Because like, oh, wow, you know, they acknowledge that, right? And if I say thank you, if they don't say thanks, say you do something and they don't say thank you, it's like, okay, like you may even feel a ways, right? Maybe not, but you may feel ways, right? But when they do say thank you, it's like, okay, wow, you know, like they really acknowledge that I made an effort and I did something. So imagine Most High, right? So imagine God, maybe imagine, you know, like when we get things, are we giving thanks, right? We have to give thanks all the time, because when we do, then we get more of it, right? So, you know, that is the key thing to this program. That's the whole foundation of it in a nutshell, right? Because as we go and we frequently think, that's why it's called the mind assistance program. We want to assist your mind. We want to assist your mind to create the thoughts that you're actually putting into your subconscious mind, right? And what those do is they cause your actions, and you see the results. The results in your life come from that, right? So don't limit yourself. Whatever you feel inside, you transfer into your map book, and you read it 2 times a day, right? And then from when you do that, just pay attention. Pay attention as you're navigating in this road. Pay attention, right? And you're gonna see everything kind of just stand out to you, or ideas are just gonna flow to you, like, oh wow, that idea. And that's why the map book is there with space, so you can fill that idea in your map book, right? You could just transfer it in. Boom, you get these ideas. Oh wow, yeah, I'm gonna put that. I'm doing that this year. You're gonna add that to your year, right? You're gonna add it to, oh yeah, this week. Oh yeah, this thing's going on. Oh yeah, let me add that to my week, right? You can add it the next week, the weeks ahead, or whatever. The space is to catch those thoughts, right? It's kind of like a fishing net, right? And that's how I like the map book to a fishing net, right? Because with fishing, many people, they have the fishing rod, which is cool. Fishing rod is blessed, right? And it's experience, right? Because you have that fishing rod and you're reeling it in, right? But the map book's like a fishing net, right? Where you have the net out and all these thoughts, right? You're thinking of the fish like your thoughts, right? You catch with the fish rod, you catch one thought at a time. You get it, you work in it, it's blessed, right? With the map book, you have a fishing net. So all of these thoughts that are coming, you're transferring them, right? And when they happen is when they happen. That's the gestation period, right? That's the law of gestation, right? So that whatever period of time that is, right? So when you're writing in your map, I'm grateful and thank God that, Francisca says she meeting Oprah, that, I'm meeting Oprah, right? That could be in a week, that could be in a month, that could be in a year, that could be in 5 years, it could be 10 years. It doesn't matter when it is, right? It just matters that, she's moving towards it. She has that energy. She's doing different things all throughout the thing. She's maybe speaking and engaging. You never, all kinds of things are going to happen, and they're going to form these results that she's looking for, right? Because what thoughts are you thinking, right? Because words have power as they relate to thought and emotion. Start analyzing your every word that you say and every thought that you are thinking. Recognize whether the thoughts are coming from your creation or if it is coming from a source which has been instilled into your mind, right? This is so important, right? The thoughts that you're thinking, did it come from your creation? Is it from your mind? Or is it from something what someone else told you, or something that you've seen on TV, or something like where is it coming from, right? So those thoughts, and if it's coming from an outside source, it could be good. It's just about the information, that what is it? Is it because there's information that's out there, and it's all about which information you're channeling in, right? And now it's so great because we're in the information age, so the information is right there in the palm of our hands, right? It's right there in front of us. So it's very important that as you recognize the difference between the two, you correct your thoughts to be in the affirmative, right? So I always ask smart questions, right? You're thinking that, and you're in terms of anything that you're thinking of, you want to be thinking of things that came from you that make you feel good, just like what Corey was talking about with the positive, right? They got to make you feel good. like, you know, wealth is a feeling, right? More than it's something tangible, right? And it's a feeling. How good are you feeling? Are you feel good now? That's the objective, right? And as you do that, right, that's where you're going to, you know, get the best result, right? So it's a tricky thing because many people may not feel, maybe thinking that wealth is money, right? And if they see wealth as money and they're not at that certain financial point they've been thinking they were going to be on, right? Then it may do something to their feelings. They may feel a certain way because they're not there yet, right? And by them feeling that way, what they're doing, you know, unconsciously doing, is kind of like pushing it further and further, right? But if you feel good about your experience, right, you're going in this road, you're providing service, right, and your relationship with money is good, right, where it feels good, then, you know, you're actually going to see the financial aspect in your life actually increase because you feel good when you're talking about money or your relationship with it, or, you know, it doesn't matter how much you currently have, because remember, your results is a result of your past thinking, right? So, you know, with this information, you know, now you have new information, right? Where's your teachability index? Is it at 1 or is it at 10? Right? So if your teachability index is at 10, you know, just apply the information, apply this information now, and you create the thoughts that you're thinking moving forward, right? And of course, you know, we're in this social world, so you may be on something like Instagram and you're scrolling, and unfortunately, you don't have control of what you're going to see next, right? But you do have control, I guess, in terms of what you're following and what hashtags or whatever the case may be. So just look out for the things that connect with you, right? You know, if something's not making you feel good, it's not connecting with you, right? Then, you know, maybe go deeper and pay attention, you know, and kind of, you know, cancel out that channel so that, you know, your thoughts are in alignment with your intentions, right? So yeah, it's pretty much we're at a time right now. Of course, we could go deeper, but you know, we just want to go more in the session. So I want everyone to really, if you don't mind, you know, expand on, you know, what we've been going over today, right? In terms of your thinking and, you know, how you be thinking moving forward, like some of the things that you'll be, you know, thinking moving forward. Derek. I don't know if you heard me. Kathy.
Hello. I do want to expand on it. I think one thing that you also have to be aware of is your actions, because, you know, we have these thoughts. I'll give you an example what happened to me over the weekend. So I was hosting open house on Saturday and Sunday. And Saturday, I wasn't feeling it. I was tired. And, you know, the girl that was supposed to join me, she ended up bailing. I was looking forward to sitting with her, chit-chatting. So I went in like kind of blah, just like, you know, I got to sit here for 2 hours. I didn't even turn the lights on. Okay. So when we do open house, we turn the lights on, open the window, you know me too, right?
A big
So
analogy.
I didn't even turn the lights. I didn't even turn the lights on, and nobody came until I went to close the door, and some like I had just the main floor lights, right? And then someone came to the door, right? I was just ready to leave.
Yeah, I remember,
you know?
I was talking to you at that time, and you said that, yeah, you're just wrapping up, and then I remember
So
that.
someone came. So then today, I said to myself, I said, look how you went to that open house yesterday. You went to that open house. You didn't turn the lights on. You didn't set up the house for people to come and see the house. So what are you attracting to this house today? So today I went with a different mindset, and I intentionally, I turned the lights on, and I intentionally sat, like, I even meditated for 10 minutes when I got
Nice.
there. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
said, I'm
yeah,
going to
yeah.
spend a few minutes, and I had more people come through today,
Wow.
and I had better energy there today. I mean, I spent time with you, Richard, on the phone,
Yeah.
but, I was interrupted in a good way because people wanted to come and see the house.
That's
And
amazing.
that's my intention. So in saying that, so I think, we could have these things in our mind that we want to do. Like, I really want to sell this house. I really want a good result for my client. But I went to that open house with such a negative demeanor that, nobody's gonna come, it's raining, it's dreary. But that's not the way I should have went. I should have went and maybe meditated yesterday and went with more positive attitude and I could have even opened the windows and let some fresh air in, you know what I mean? So I think that our actions along with our thoughts are so super important.
Yeah, that's big. Thank you so much for expanding on that. That's amazing. And that's 100%. 100%. You have to take action. Have to take action. Right.
Yeah.
And yeah, Catherine, I seen the MacBook red, so plug back in. And that's what the check marks are for. That's exactly what the check marks are there for action. So that we're moving towards this thing that's outside of our radar zone. Right. This thing that's it's coming towards us. But we also have to go towards it. We also have to meet. We have to meet, right? You're going out date. You're going to meet somewhere, right? So you have to move towards it, right? And that's pretty much every single thing that's happening. So thank you so much for sharing that, Kathy. And Francisca.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go. Anything to expand on today's session?
Yes, you said that. Oh, I'm sorry. We're all connected. And my mother is Jamaican. She once said to my father, it seems as though all Africans are related. You always say, this is my brother, this is my sister, this is my uncle. You're all related.
But really and truly, we all are, and of all races, of all cultures, everything, and that's just, through evolution and time, so, as we grow, we expanded out in this world, right? And in different climates, different, situations of how you're built and how you can handle certain areas of this world, right? And that's the beautiful thing about it. So that's why even what Kathy was saying, people even can't even speak English. Everyone knows a universal language of hi. Everyone knows even the neighbors across the street. In my area, most of the neighbors are Indian, a lot of older, Indian people that don't even speak English. But you give them a hi, and they're excited to say hi to you. Another lady came by to see my daughter, and she's speaking to her and even me in her language. Right? Like, but you could see, I don't know what to say, but you could see that, it was a good interaction that we had. Right. And, so we all are brothers and sisters. Right. We all are brothers and sisters. It just comes to, in terms of our perspective, and, we do have a limited perspective. Right. And, that's why, the information that we have right now, we want that knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. We want to be able to grow and have this information, so as we navigate, we realize we are connected, and everything is a connection of us. Like everyone, as you share your wealthy moments, you'll notice, like, you'll go in, certain things, and, to experience how it just happens, you just know that it's divine, right? And, that's from really connecting. And like Kathy said, meditating, and, all these things, we really got to connect with the source. So thank you so much, Francisca. Belinda, anything to add before we sign out?
No, not at the moment.
Okay, nice.
What I have to say, the book that I have completed with Brian Tracy, which I'm receiving in November, actually, because I've gone through a lot, and I based on the biblical principles. I got my deliverance, and I based it on the teachings of Jesus Christ, and I came out of it. A lot of your stuff that you brought up about the mind is exactly what I wrote in that book.
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
So I'm waiting for it to complete publication. It'll be delivered to me in November of this year.
That's amazing. Yeah, please share it with us. Let us know when it's available. And that's what the
Right.
network is. That's what the Create Wealth Network is. Because that information, if you, especially with a teachability index, a high teachability index, everyone, we all need to absorb that information, right? Because go ahead.
It's because of the way we were brought up. The way our parents brought us up with fear, and there's always so much of fear. And then you get out of it, you get married, and then thinking that the life will be different, and then another part of a different kind of fear goes over you, because then you are into an abusive relationship, and you're so crippled that you cannot come out, you cannot speak. I was always like, I would speak my mind even when I was growing up with my parents, but then I noticed myself, like, how did I become from a free spirit to a crippled one? It's so there's a lot that was on us, and I had to come out of it with concentrating on what Jesus said, and how he, like, every part of the Bible, the scriptures that the Lord gave me, I stick on that, and I meditated on those words, and I came out of it.
Wow. That's amazing. And that's the main thing. When we connect with source, when we connect with Christ, when we go inside of ourselves and we get those answers, right? Us navigating, you just pay attention and the things are coming to you. So I'm so grateful that you're a part of our network now, and you're in the program. Is meant to be. I just see all amazing things happening, because you're tapped in, and that's pretty much we got to stay tapped in. Because I'll be honest, like even with myself, like with the network, it's something where it's a task to get people to stay plugged in, right? It's some people are plugged in every day. Every day they're committed, they're on it. Francisca, I have to give it up to you for sure. But it is a challenge, because every day we're growing, right? And as we grow, it's like, we go through certain waves, right? So that discipline of going inside of yourself all of the time, just keep going inside of yourself, right? We have to think liken it like breathing. Like breathing, we inhale and exhale every day, all the time. We inhale, exhale unconsciously. We need to do that in order for our bodies to function, right? So in order for our mind to function, we should be inhaling and exhaling. We should be going inside of our map book and coming outside in this world, going inside through prayer, coming outside in this world, going in meditation, coming outside in this world, right? We have to frequently do that, all the time. Like, it's not something that stops, right? Like when we stop breathing, we're dead. If we really take it in, right? So with our mind, it's so important that we're going inside and outside, 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 right? And as you do that, you get the greatest experience, because you're channeled in. You're getting direction, you're moving on direction, right? And well, that's pretty much what the basis of today's session is. Pay attention, right? Pay attention. The more you go inside, the more you can pay attention, right? Just off everyone's reflections and what everyone's sharing right now, it shows that we're tapped in, right? So let's continue to be. Everyone welcome our newest wealth creator, Belinda, on board, an affiliate. She's gonna help us get the map book out to the world, right? And at the same time, she's gonna accomplish all her dreams and goals, right? And as all of us are, as long as we go inside. That's today's session. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night. God bless.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.